What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we've got the weekly reset for Tuesday, August 13th, and of course today we get a new patch for the game, so we'll talk about Bungie's updates and changes for the week. Additionally, we have the continuation of Solstice of Heroes, so we'll give a couple of updates there. Otherwise, we'll round up vendors like the Eververse inventory for the week, as well as key activities and rewards, farmable exotics, featured lost sectors, and plenty more in the video. So if you guys enjoyed this one, a rating below really helps us on the channel, but without further delay, let's get into it. And before we talk about the patch today, of course, for episode content, Act 3 will kick off on August 27th, so that is when the story will resume. We'll get new activity content, weapons, artifact mods, and more. So I'll be keeping you posted about that. We might get an announcement regarding it very soon. Otherwise, Solstice of Heroes also continues this week. So if you're working on armor unlocks, picking up any of the weapons or cosmetic items, we have the remainder of this week and next week to get it all done. Next up today though, we do get a new update. This is 8051, and we've got some patch notes. Nothing absolutely major here, but a bunch of fixes. And so, for activities and Trials of Osiris, they fixed an issue where some players were unable to access Trials, and that's despite having the latest expansion. Also for raids and dungeons and Salvation's Edge, they fixed an issue where completing the Substratum encounter with an all-Warlock fire team was not counting towards the Unified Front triumph. So, a couple of useful ones there. Then for Fireteam Finder, they fixed an issue where listings created for Grandmaster Nightfalls could launch you into the wrong Nightfall. Then for perks, they fixed an issue that allowed Eager Edge's lunge benefits to occasionally apply to non-sword melee attacks. That's an interesting one. Also for Pathfinder, they reduced the Gambit Big Game Hunter objective completion value to 1. They also fixed issues where melee and grenade kill objective completion values were reversed for the lower and higher tier variants. And finally one where elemental ability kill objectives were missing text. Then for the last couple of patch notes for investment, they fixed an issue where the Solstice keepsake memento would not drop if a player was already holding one, and now this will continue to drop until the player has 3 in their inventory, so we can hold up to 3 of them, which is useful. They also fixed an issue where the description of Solstice Ghost Projection Fireworks Projection did not note that it is subclass reactive, and another one where the store tile icons for the aggressively affirmative, confident strut, and raise the roof emotes were not appearing with correct art. So there we go, those are the patch notes for today. Once again, nothing major, but changes nonetheless. Next up, as we finally get into the game, no chickens were harmed during this weekly reset, apart from the ones on that Crucible icon. There are double Crucible rewards this week, so that in itself is at least useful. The only minor caveat is that you have to tolerate PvP, of course. Don't forget your free Bright Dust in the Eververse store now that we're finally in the game. I feel like I should go relatively quickly before I get chickened again. We do have the Moat Juggle exotic emote available here for 3,250 Bright Dust this week on the front page. We've also got the Summertide Kite exotic ship, which of course is another Solstice one right here. That's available for 2,000 Bright Dust. And then there is the Triumphant Projection for 1,500 Bright Dust. The Bright Dust economy makes no sense to me. Shaders though, we've got Vintage Timber available for 300 Bright Dust as always. Actually some nice colours there. There's also Oiled Algae on the very front page as well. But moving over to the main Bright Dust section, and we've got the Getting Shade legendary emote this week, which is 700 Bright Dust, so we'll have a quick preview of that one. The game appears to actually be stable for the moment at least. There's also the Countdown, which is a rare emote right here, available for 400 Bright Dust. And then we've got the Midway Goer exotic Sparrow for 2,500 Bright Dust. We were talking about some of these. Oh, it's got some nice LEDs on it right there, and a cool trail. We were talking about these earlier being featured. There's also the Hovering Elenine. I believe some of these were actually up for silver last week and now are available for Bright Dust, which is sort of rude. That's a kind of cool exotic ship though, sort of a kite vibe going on. So let us know your thoughts on that. There is the Finned Shell as well for 2,850 Bright Dust, if you're feeling a bit fishy. And then we've got the Sudden Squall Ornament for the Sturm for 1,250 Bright Dust. Kind of rusty, really. But then there is the Seashell Projection for 1,500 Bright Dust once again. We'll have a preview nonetheless. Then for the second page of shaders, we've got Oiled Algae once again. There's also Grand Luster for 300 Bright Dust. Let's have a quick look at that one. Somewhat pleasant. There's also the Regal Daring on the second page. And finally, the Refined Revels available this week. So a couple of decent Solstice shaders. But finally, we have the Beach Ball Effects Transmat for 450 Bright Dust. We'll preview that one again. Additionally, there is the Shocking Entrance Transmat effect, which has come up plenty of times over the years. And very finally, the Cabal Shield Breaker is available this week as well. So let us know if you plan to grab anything from the Eververse store, at least a couple of decent Solstice items if you're into the cosmetics. Here though, for a very quick look at Banshee's featured weapons for the moment, we've got the Scathe Lock with Subsistence and Adrenaline Junkie. There's also Spare Rations, which is Snapshot and Vorpal Weapon, as well as the Farewell Sidearm, which has got Tunnel Vision and Vorpal Weapon, and then the Soul Survivor, which rolls with Eddy Current and Frenzy, and finally Negative Space, which has got Relentless Strikes and Flash Counter, but keep in mind the weapons and rolls will change throughout the week. And lastly, for the vendors at least, let's check in with Shader 1. She's got New Age Black Armory available for shaders this week. These are 10,000 Glimmer. I'm not sure that this one has been up too often, so might be something that some folks will want to grab. It can look pretty good, of course, from back in the Black Armory era. There's also the Mad Monk shader, so we'll have a quick preview of that one from the Warmind era. And finally, the War Cult Endgame is also available this week. For the armor though, we do have the Prodigal set of gear that originally dropped, I think, in Dreaming City in the Forsaken era, so not necessarily something you can acquire very easily if you're a newer player, so maybe something to grab if you want to add it to collections. Moving on though, the Nightfall weapon for the week, as far as we know, should be Undercurrent, and the featured Nightfall will be Liminality, so have fun with that, especially if you jump in on Grandmaster. Otherwise, the exotic mission is Vox Obscura, where we can pick up the Dead Messenger, and then we also have the Deepstone Crypt raid featured, so all of the legendary loot pool and the Eyes of Tomorrow will be completely farmable this week. But additionally, the Shattered Throne dungeon is also featured. And very finally, for the Lost Sectors, of course solo completions have a chance to drop exotic engrams, but can also drop randomly any of the legendary weapons that we can see on the right hand column. So today we've got Thrillerdrome on Neomuna, August 14th will be Hydroponics Delta, and then we'll see Vel's Labyrinth in the Cosmodrome for the 15th, Exodus Garden 2A on the 16th, August 17th though, we'll move over to Pale Heart with the Broken Deep. And then we'll see the Blooming Deep on August 18th, and Forgotten Deep finally on August 19th. Otherwise guys, for today, that's what we have to round up for the video. I'll be keeping you posted with all of the news, updates from Bungie, reveals for Act 3, and the upcoming episodes, so keep it locked and loaded here on the channel so I can keep you up to date. Let us know if you'll be diving into the game this week down in the comments section, and also a rating below really does help us out if you have enjoyed the video. But otherwise, cheers for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.